Ludus Vulpes.
Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name's Kirsty.
And I'm Phil.
You join us as we run through our thoughts of Leaf from Weird City Games.
From the environmentally sound packaging that it arrived in, through to the piles of leaf that will stack up in your forest and grow fungus. It's the game. All about mushrooms. Mushrooms and leaves. And we've left this one in the packaging because the packaging is so pretty, and we'll attempt to disenrobe it.
Yes.
So let's see what we can do. Oh, it's upside down in the box as well. So.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
I know, it's going to be fun.
Maybe just flip it over.
Oh, look how pretty it is. Whoa. There we go.
Ta-da!
And it's not just like the front cover that's pretty on Leaf. The back of the box is pretty damn good too. So the artwork for Leaf is absolutely glorious.
That's by Angela Rizza. And the game is actually designed by Tim Eisner.
So, without any further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a game, and we'll join you a little bit later on in the game as we get sort of halfway through the game, and then we'll talk you through how the game actually plays. So we'll see you down at the table in just a few minutes. Hang on, Kirsty. We've not got a game set up all midway through a play. What the hell are we doing with this camera on the table?
So this is what... you know how I'm very, very, very interested in the way that a game is laid out inside the box.
Okay.
So I thought this is such a beautiful example of what companies can do that really we need to share it.
Okay.
And the only way we can share that is if we showcase it from above.
Okay, so...
So let's move this paper out the way.
And let's move this lid out of the way. There we go. Oh, it's a rule book. Probably not the biggest surprise. Oh, it's a beautiful tree.
It certainly is.
We've not seen the best bits yet. A little player board or player aids. We'll put those to one side for now. Small boards that carry cards and leaves. We'll deal with those in a moment. But here is a genuine thing of beauty.
I agree.
The game, each component of the game comes packaged in these individual boxes, which makes the whole process of just opening the box and looking at it a bit of a, oh.
So if it actually plays up to 4 players, and it even has a solo mode. So you can literally choose the number of players based on the number of mushrooms, open the box, and choose your favourite colour. So
we'll go for an orange and a green, I believe. So they'll come out. I'll be orange.
Okay.
We'll need the sunshine tokens as well, but that's all we'll need from that little compartment. So that's nice.
That neatly closes away.
We're going to need some cards. So the cards are in this section of the box, and we've got this set of cards. No plastic packaging on this, all paper, so that makes things nice as well. So these cards are going to come out. These cards are going to come out as well. These are the animal cards where you're going to see some amazing
artwork.
Yeah, so take those out.
Managed to shuffle 2 different types of cards together.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's a good start. It's fine.
Okay, they're the solo players on, so they can go back in the box anyway. Okay, so that's that section of the box. We've got tokens, and we've got here.
Everybody loves tokens.
We've got the acorn tokens. There's also a little expansion that comes in the deluxe version of the game, so that's just going to sit in there.
It is important to notice that all the components that you're seeing and about to see are because it is the deluxe version.
And so all these little wooden leaves are going to come out, and they're going to get shuffled at some point, and they're going to go on the leaf board.
Show these out because the colours of these are absolutely stunning.
Yeah, very evocative of autumn or fall if you're from any part of the world that's not the UK.
Yes.
So out come the leaves, which is nice. Once all the leaves are out like that, we can reseal this box. If I can reseal the box. Yeah, there we go. We can reseal this box. We can put the lid back on, and Leaf is ready to set up and play. So, sorry for a little diversion from what we normally do, but actually we thought it might be nice for you to see how much thought and consideration had gone into actually just the physical presentation of this game. It is genuinely exceptionally well done.
I'd also just like to point out it feeds my OCD no end. So thank you, Weird City Games.
We'll see you midpoint of the game. Okay. No, you're joining us down at the table as we are now midpoint of the game, and as you can see, we've got a huge clutter of leaves filling the table. Our pile of available leaves has gone down, and we've been distributing sunshine. Kirsty's squirrel's been scampering up the tree. My squirrel's just been nudging up the tree. He's not quite as energetic as Kirsty's, but I've got loads of animals coming to my woodland, and Kirsty's got not as many animals coming to.
I like my squirrels.
But Kirsty's grown lots of mushrooms, and I've not grown quite so many mushrooms. So what the hell is the point of what's going on here on this board? So in a game of Leaf, it plays really simply, I think.
I think it's a beautiful game.
You have a hand of cards. Those cards are leaves. On your turn, you're going to play a leaf card, take a leaf from the supply, and you're going to drop it somewhere onto the carpet of leaves that's forming in the middle of the table. And then you look at where the tips connect. And where the tips connect are going to tell you what actions you take during the game. So when you connect to a green leaf, you get to draw a card. And that allows you to continue playing in the game. If at any point you do not have cards when it comes to your turn, you get one of these lovely -3 victory point tokens before you then draw 2 cards and take your turn. If you connect an orange leaf, you get to take an animal from the animal board, and they come scampering to your woodland, and what you're trying to do as you progress on the board at the top is, as they hit the frost, they go into hibernation, and you're going to score points for the animals that are hibernating at the bottom of your board right at the end of the game. So orange is about collecting sets of animals. Brown, anything that connects to a brown, we've got a few here, that's your squirrel scampering up the tree, and the tree has 2 roots, and every space you go over you're going to get the reward that's there. It's quite straightforward. If you connect to a yellow leaf, Kirsty, what happens?
So when you connect with a yellow leaf, you get to collect a sunshine token. So these beautiful wooden tokens here. And your sunshine tokens, when you get 3, you may trade them in at any point to advance the game tracker up. So if I just slightly move this more into view here. So if I had 3 sunshine tokens, I could choose to advance the token. And you'll notice that when I move the token, there are acorns which are located beneath that section, and the player who moves that will then gain the acorns that are beneath that space. Now I'm just going to pop it back so we're back to where we were.
Yeah. And then the last type of leaf is a red leaf.
The red leaves allow you to plant your little baby mushroom tokens here. They also allow you, if you've got multiple goes, to change it from, for example, if I was getting a leaf move now, I would place the leaf as one move.
Mushroom.
Sorry, the mushroom as one leaf. Oh my lord. As one go. If I had another red go, I would choose to either plant another mushroom or grow that mushroom to an adult mushroom. Now, what is the benefit of an adult mushroom? Adult mushrooms, I'm not one for eating mushrooms, so at the end of the game, you will score for areas of grown mushrooms. So baby mushrooms like this one would not count, but larger mushrooms such as these would. They also, if you have a large mushroom, as I have here, if, for example, if I pop it here, and then Phil was to play a leaf connecting to here, like so, he would have to give me a sunshine token during the go. Now this is from the general supply, not his supply. It's just a little added bonus for connecting to a grown mushroom. Yeah. Now I'll pop that back. I'll take that mushroom out. So I wouldn't want to give myself an extra point towards the end of the game, obviously.
So we've mentioned acorns a few times. Acorns are how you win the game. They are victory points, so you want to collect as many as you can. Progressing the sunshine track is one way of doing so. Picking up animals with acorns on is another way. You can get acorns by running your squirrel up the tree, and there are points awarded at the end of the game for a variety of things. So for groups of animals, you're going to get points. For groups of adult mushrooms on the board, you're going to get points.
I'd just like to clarify, animals that have hibernated in your winter den.
Yes, so you'll only ever score 3 different groupings maximum, because you get 3 frosts, which means you get 3 hibernations. Every time you pass a frost, you get to choose to hibernate an animal type. That can be an animal type you've already hibernated, but you can only ever choose one type to move from the top of your board to the bottom of your board. Optimally, in the same way with the mushrooms, groupings of 3 is the optimal grouping. That gets you 8 points, I think. 8 points for 3 mushrooms in a group. 3 animals hibernated in a group get you 6 points. Any numbers above that add 1, both in the mushrooms and on the animals. So really, you're fighting over mushrooms, animals, you're trying to score points as you go, and, well, take a watch of the game. I believe it's my turn.
It is. I was just going to say, if you needed a handy dandy reference, it is actually on the card. So you have a turn overview, you have an indication of what the actions are with the different colours, and you also have the scoring. Yeah. So you can choose to have whichever side as and when you get used to the game.
So, it's my go. I have
it is.
2 green cards with me at the moment. They're both the same. Now, I have a choice. I can play both of these cards, which allows me, from an efficiency point of view, to plant a mushroom without having to connect to a red leaf. However, if I ever start my go without any cards...
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so I'm actually just going to play 1 ginkgo card. And I'm going to take the last ginkgo leaf from the pile. Now, little wind symbol here. If ever 3 piles empty, that's going to trigger the end of the game. And we'll play until each player has had the same number of turns. And then we'll have 1 final frost and we'll do scoring. But I'm going to place this, and I need to place this in such a way that gets me some cards as well. So I'm probably going to try and connect to a green. I do want sunshine, because I could do with hibernating another animal. So I'm going to put my ginkgo there. So I've got... on the leaves, there's these little points which indicate a tip of the leaf, and there's a stem, and they're all points of connection. So I've connected to 2 green tips and 2 yellow tips, which gives me 2 green actions and 2 yellow actions. So the 2 yellow actions, I take 2 sunshine. And the 2 green actions give me 2 cards from the deck to add to my little collection. That's the end of my go. It's Kirsty's go.
However, as Phil has very blatantly, completely ignored, he connected to a leaf which has one of my grown mushrooms on.
Which
enables me to have a sunshine token.
She's correct.
Ta-da!
Now it's your go.
Now it's my turn. So, I am also in a precarious situation of only having 2 leaf cards left. So ideally, I would like to play in an area which has green connections. Phil, close your eyes. I have 2 different types of card which are available. Close your ears. I have the tulip poplar, which there is only 1 left, so that would escalate towards the end of the game. I also have the sassafras, which I think is very sassy, and this one is actually, there's 2 left. So, depending on where I'd like to go, which I sometimes struggle to visualise with this game, I'm going to try and go for the sassafras, even though it means I might have to give Phil a sunshine token. So I'm going to trade in my sassafras. I'm going to receive the sassafras back. Now, the decision to make here is the best way to connect. And it's not always the most obvious. So you often find that you end up moving the piece around multiple sides without knocking
trashing the board in the process.
Without knocking everything. So here, this would give me 2 green and 1 red. Is that the most optimal move for me? It's a tricky one because the shape isn't always the best shape.
Yeah, it's quite nice, the sort of abstract nature of the shape. Not abstract, the leaf shapes, but it does mean that there's some really tough little decisions to be made as you play your leaf to the table. It's a nice way of going about it. I'll move my hedgehogs out of the way before they get crushed by a falling leaf.
They will not get crushed. I will not hurt them. I think this might be the only chance I have to do a decent move here. So I'll take 2 green because I'm connected to 2 green tips. I also get to take a red move. Now, all the mushrooms I have on the board are fully grown, which means in this case, I'll be planting a mushroom. And I'll be planting a mushroom. What's Phil going to need?
Well, I'm going to get a sunshine token while you're thinking about that, because you planted it, you place your leaf adjacent to one of my grown mushrooms. I only have 1 grown mushroom. These are 2 babies, by the way.
I am going to place So that reminds me that Phil is going to need to use a mushroom piece at some time. Now I'm already here. I don't really need to build this any bigger. I'm going to pop it on here with the chance of hopefully being able to grow it at some point.
Okay.
Now, towards the end of my go, I have a look and I have 3 sunshine tokens. So I'm going to trade those in.
Okay.
And I'm going to push this token, which allows me to take 4 acorns. Now I'm going to trade 1 in.
I'll give you a 5.
And I get 5. And that allows Phil and I to now hibernate 1 animal type.
So I'm going to hibernate my toads because I've got 3 of those.
Mm-hmm. I've got a 2, a 2 or a 1.
Now, there are 3 frosts in the game. The first frost and the second frost might not happen. It'd be unusual, but potentially players might not play sunshine and you might end up with all 3 piles emptying before you get there. But winter has a final frost that will always happen. So we've got the 2 frosts in, which works for me because I'm hoping that animals will win me the game and Kirsty's kind of hoping that mushrooms will win her the game.
I'm going to play my 2 turtles into my winter den.
Okay.
And that's the end of my game.
So I'm going to play a tulip poplar, which reduces that pile as well. It wasn't.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I wish these leaves turned corners, but they don't. And so I'm going to connect here, which gives me. I'm going to connect here. I don't know which is the politest way of doing it. I'm going to click like that. So it gives me 2 reds and a brown. So my brown is going to be my squirrel grabbing an acorn. So I'll grab myself an acorn. And the 2 reds allow me to grow up to adult mushrooms, which is what I wanted to do. And that is now Kirsty's go.
And again, Phil has failed to notice he is connected to 2 of my adult mushrooms, allowing me to have 2 sunshine
Actually,
tokens.
1 sunshine.
Why?
Actually, no. Fair.
2
but
mushrooms.
Also, at the end of my turn, I'm going to spend 3 sunshine to advance the sunshine track and get me 4
Racing
acorns.
to the end of the game.
Because I'm going to need those.
Okay. Now, let's see. I need to plant a mushroom and I need to grow 2 mushrooms as a minimum to try and stop Phil from beating me. Now, how can I do that with next to no cards? Okie dokie. I am going to play a trident maple.
Which is this one?
Nope.
No, this one.
As you can see, I've played 2 cards, which allows me to place a mushroom on that piece.
On the tile you've played, yeah. So, where's it going?
I'm just figuring that one out. So I've got here. Let's have a look. Might need to just move slightly.
You will find that this game becomes a bit of a table hog at times, just because...
In a wonderful way.
Yeah, it spreads out nicely. It is kind of beautiful.
Now, ideally, I want at least 2 red moves. So if there's any way I can make a red move work... Oops. So that would actually give me 3 red moves.
It would.
Which is a bit risky because I don't have any cards. So 3 red moves. So I will grow this one. I will place this one.
And grow it.
And grow this one.
Nice. And you have 1 card left.
I have 1 card left. I'm going to... I also connected to a yellow, which gives me a sunshine token.
It does, because we not trashed the table.
Sorry, I'll take a sunshine token, and I will spend 3 sunshines to gain 3... You can bring that back down into shot if you like.
It's fine, because Kirsty has triggered the end of the game.
How have I?
Because you've gone past winter.
Oh no, so 3 tokens.
Yep. And gives you 3 acorns.
So I'll pop those 3 acorns there. Okay.
So, we're at the end of the game. I only
had 1 card left.
Yeah, I was the first player. The cards are worth points at the end of the game, but now we get to do a bit of totaling. So what you do at this stage of the game is you flip over the board and you just go through the points. So the highest squirrel in the tree, which is Kirsty, will
actually get to do another hibernation.
Oh, we do get to do another hibernation. That is
okay.
Correct.
I'll remember the rules.
Thank you. So I'm going to hibernate those.
I have hibernated my crows, which are the only crows that have come out the entire game.
So, highest squirrel gets 6 points. The second highest squirrel gets 3 points. So Kirsty gets 6 because the green squirrel is higher, and the orange squirrel gets 3 points. Oops, 1, 2, 3. I can't pick these acorns up apparently. So that's my acorn. That's that part. Mushrooms. Groupings of adult mushrooms. Each grouping gets, if it's one mushroom on its own, it gets 1 point. 2 mushrooms, 3 points. 3 mushrooms, 8 points. 4 mushrooms would be 9 points. 5 would be 10 points. So Kirsty's got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So she's got 3 groupings of 3. So that's 8, 16, 24 points. Here, have a ugly cardboard 20-point counter. And there's 4.
Thank you.
And I have 1 grouping of 3 adult mushrooms, giving me 8 points. Okay, I'm going to trade in for a 20 as well, so that we've got some 5s left. There we go. Nope, it's not a -3, that was wrong.
I mean, you're welcome to say the -3.
That was an error. Winter Den, animal section. So for every 3 animals, I'm going to score 6 points. So that's 6, 12, 18 points for me. So I'm going to put 2 of these single ones back and take another 20. Kirsty.
So in mine, I have 3 squirrels, which is 6 points. I have 2 turtles.
3 points, yeah.
Tortoises. So that's 3 points. So that's 9. And I have 2 crows. So that's 12 points.
There's 10 there. And 2 more.
And would you like me to trade those in? For a 5.
You can do. And then, right at the end of the game, and/or sun tokens and/or leaf cards. Every 2 green cards or sun tokens gets you an acorn. I've got 2 cards. I get 1 acorn. And that is the end of the game. So we now go ahead and just total those final scores.
What's it going to be?
40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 56 for me and more for Kirsty, I guess.
I have. That's a 20
You can tell by the smug grin she's got on her face.
I've got a 20 there, so I trade that 20 in there.
61 for Kirsty.
So 61 points.
To 56.
I do enjoy a good game of Leaf.
So Kirsty, thoughts on the game? We'll leave it on the board for now and we'll just talk through what's ahead of us and what you think.
Okay, so I backed this game on Kickstarter a long time ago, and when I did, I didn't actually know much about Weird City Games, and they're a small independent that they believed a lot in sustainability, and they were going to try and focus as much, you know, on that and reduce the amount of plastic, etc. But actually, when I saw the example of the game on Kickstarter, it just looked beautiful. Like, autumn is fall is my favourite season. And actually, there was no way I wasn't going to back this one. I was really glad when it got through. And yes, it took a while to get here, but I was okay. We've got a couple of games lying around to keep us occupied.
We're not short of games.
And so this game is probably one of the most beautiful in our collection. Not only is the component quality amazing, the tactility is fantastic. My mum has rheumatoid arthritis and can't always pick up components in games. We were able to play this with her on a bad day and she was able to pick it up and use it, which was really useful. The artwork, so not just the artwork on the leaves, but the artwork on the cards with the animals are beautiful. The style, it's very, very stylistic drawing, but it is beautifully stylistic drawing. So if you like that kind of, art style, you're gonna love the art in this game. Yeah. The component quality. Now, obviously, please bear in mind that we are playing a deluxe edition. I did go all in, you know, all guns blazing, and it's paid off as far as I'm concerned. The tokens they're not just thick cardboard. I mean, even the 20s are quite thick cardboard. It just makes it an easier to play game. And another thing that's also really important, as you've no doubt heard from other videos we've done, is accessibility for colour blindness. Now, every leaf is a different colour, but it's actually a different style and it's a different shape. So it means that even if you are colourblind, you can still play the game. The cards are all one colour tone, so you're just playing by the shape. And also the mushrooms. So each player is a different style of mushroom. from the front, the start of the game when we got the others out, they're all you can distinguish it without looking at the colour.
Yeah, you don't need
so
the colour
the
to distinguish
design.
it.
Yeah, I'll leave that. So yeah, I think it's a much trickier game than I first realised when we first played, and that for me is because you can go, oh yeah, I'll just pop that in there, and then actually you go to place it, you go, there might be a more optimum placement here. Let me just fiddle around and figure out if it's the best one. The card economy is tight in this game. You want to play double cards so that you can place mushrooms, but you race through your cards at twice the speed.
Yeah, you do.
And the green leaves are some of the most popular during the game, depending on the placement of whether it's going to be movement up the tree with brown, whether it's leaf cards to prolong the goes in the game and ensure that you don't end up with those pesky -3 tokens. The oranges are also another popular one with the animals. So it's a really well balanced scoring game, and as I said, a lot more thinky than one might first think when looking at it. What do you think?
When I first saw Leaf, and when it first arrived and we opened the box, in my head, the back of my head was screaming gimmick everywhere. These leaf shapes are beautiful and hard to argue with, but the leaf placement just feels quite gimmicky. It all feels like if you feel like you're playing a gimmick to a certain extent. And when you first pick the rule book up and get the components out, you're like, is the game going to be more gimmick than game? And it's not. And the game play itself is interestingly tight. The tile positioning, because it is a tile laying game fundamentally, the tile positioning makes you question what you want to do and how you want to drive efficiency. You can get you can get stuck down. The major scoring routes at the end of the game are going to be mushrooms and animals. I'm not sure why the animals score less than the mushrooms, but they do. But you can collect probably more animals quicker.
Yeah.
But then that's if I've got a complaint, I feel like the balance between those two scoring elements is slightly skewed towards mushrooms.
I would disagree with that, and I would say that
Would you,
because
given that you've won all the games on mushrooms so far?
No. I would say so if you connect, so for example, I'm going to grab any random leaf now, and if we connect to a mushroom. So I've got two connections here. If there were no mushrooms on the board and I was trying to place mushrooms, my two mushrooms is either a placement and a grow, so that's one mushroom, or two placements, which don't score anything until you've then connected again to mushrooms. So you have to really focus on that.
I don't disagree.
Whereas if you connect this one, let me see if there is one, over here.
Yep, you get to take...
You get...
2 animal cards.
You get 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So 3 animal cards that, if you're fortunate, and it's just before a frost, so I don't know, I haven't. This is a bad example for me, but for example, if you had your toads up, that's okay. That's another 2 towards that, and that's another set collection.
Yeah.
So actually, you don't have to do anything other than hit a frost. So as far as I'm concerned, I think the effort that you go to get points on mushrooms is more difficult than just swipe and then move.
Okay, well, I'm not sure I agree.
I'm glad that we disagree on something for once.
What we don't disagree on is the fact that this game is beautiful, and the gameplay itself is interesting and maintains itself and maintains your interest in the game all the way through to the very end, which comes quite quickly. The early part of the game is quite a slow, almost sort of Cascadia-esque in its feel. It's quite... therapeutic almost.
Yeah.
But then the game accelerates in the later game, which is a really nice, well thought through aspect of the game. It's very easy when you're doing a tile laying game like this, that the pacing of the game remains consistent throughout, because you lay a tile, take some points, carry on, someone else lays a tile, take some points and carry on. But the sense of urgency on what you want to collect, how you want to collect it as the game progresses, increases and creates more stress moments and tough decisions later in the game, but the game is going at a faster pace. That's really good design. It's really well thought out, and it's it's really hard to call it a gimmick anymore. Having played it a few times now, this is a lovely game. It plays itself well. These stupid ginkgo leaves with only 3 connections are just so annoying because they do, because they close out parts of the board really quickly, and that's fine because it's interesting, and like you'll look at a leaf and go, I can slot that in there and get that and that, and you can't a lot of the times. So yeah, as the game goes, it's much thinkier than you might think. It's still only like a sort of midweight, light to midweight Euro, but it's trickier than you think. It's got a bit more thought in there, and the game pacing is wonderful because it increases in pace later in the game, and that is a really clever trick. Well done, Weird City Games.
One thing as well, which I think is important as well, going on from what Phil was just saying about the pacing, the fact that if you have someone who doesn't want to go through the hibernation, who is doing just that, I would love to just create a beautiful blanket of leaves here, the fact that if 3 areas end up being empty, it triggers the end of the game without you even, maybe you can do one hibernation at frost time, but you can't do any more than that. So it's really well balanced in that respect. And they've also thought it out with the number of players, and there are different, if I just be awful and tick these off.
Chuck them off.
So in a 3 to 4 player game, you'll see that there are actually larger sections between the frosts, and in a 1 to 2 player game, it's smaller sections.
Yeah.
So everything's been really well thought out to ensure that it's not underpowered or overpowered in any way, and also taking into account the number of players that are taking part in the game.
Yeah. So overall, I think Leaf is a wonderful recommendation. If you can grab a copy, it's a well worth your time digging one out and giving it a go, or finding someone who's got a copy who would be more than happy to play this game with you.
It's a great game. It doesn't overstay its welcome on the table. About 30 minutes. I'm not sure how long.
First
play will be longer because you're getting used to the symbology. But as soon as you get used to it, it's one that's a beautiful table presence, and it gets thumbs up for me.
Yeah, if there's a criticism of it, and it's very light as criticism goes, is that it does spread a little bit. And you will find yourself moving parts of the board around to fit leaves in. But I think overall,
adaptivity is good.
Yeah, I think overall I can forgive it that just for delivering a really interesting experience that delivers a good game as well as an experience. So yeah, happy with Leaf. It's a good deluxe edition.
Thank you so much for watching this video. We do really appreciate it. Don't forget, if you'd like to, please give us a little like and subscribe. Every little one of them counts. Don't forget, we're also on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. All you need to do is search for Ludus Vulpes.
So, if you enjoyed this video, please give those ideas a moment of thought, and we will see you hopefully very soon. So thank you so much for your time today.
See you soon, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.